Amy needs french fries. Hi, I'm Amy.
And I'm Joseph.
And this is Turning the World. And today we are going to talk about trust in relationships, navigating relationships and boundaries.
Can you trust your partner with friends of the opposite sex?
When we first got together, I was definitely still friends with my ex and several guys that I had been dating or been romantically involved with. I think a lot of other women find themselves in a similar situation with that because once we break up with someone, it's like we don't have any more romantic attraction to them. We as women somehow have this unique ability to stay friends with someone without wanting to take them to the bedroom.
What I've found to be the case in most instances is that men have a hard time staying platonic friends with somebody they've been romantic with in the past.
I actually found out about a guy's inability to remain platonic friends the hard way because when we met, I was still friends with a guy. It wasn't really my boyfriend, but I had been romantic with him or intimate with him, and I thought we were friends. One day, though, I learned the hard way what a spank bank was. Joseph had to explain what that was to me, and I was horrified. Here I was thinking I was friends with this guy, completely platonically, and he slid into my DMs one day talking about how he still thought of me in a really yucky way.
I remember that.
And that was the end of my platonic friendship with him. Gross. One question that has come up is it okay to have opposite sex friendships in your marriage? And if so, what do those friendships look like and what are the boundaries surrounding that friendship?
So from my perspective, absolutely. Opposite sex friendships can be healthy and can be vital. I think it's ridiculous to expect your significant other to never have interaction with somebody of the opposite sex other than you, or somebody that they could possibly be attracted to in the case of same-sex couples as well.
For us, we don't really have many close friendships outside our marriage anyway, much less opposite sex friendships.
But what if I had a friendship that was with a woman?
Hated it. I would hate that. Honestly, I would not like it if you had someone that you were really close with that was of the opposite sex. And I know that's probably not very fair, but it's just the way I feel.
What does very close mean?
Very close would be a confidant. Someone that you're confiding in things about me, about our relationship, about your deepest feelings, or someone who fulfilled something that I couldn't in your life. That would be really hard for me. Someone that understood you on a level that I couldn't, or someone that in a way that I didn't have the capacity to understand or relate to you in. That would be really hard for me. Baby count.
Speaking of that, I remember when we first got together, you were still very close with your ex-husband. You guys did confide in one another. You would share funny memes. You would talk about things that were more than just the kids or what was going on in your lives that would affect co-parenting. And I found that to be very uncomfortable.
I wouldn't say that was the healthiest relationship dynamic, but my ex-husband and I did talk a lot when we first met. And those conversations ranged from who we were dating, what was happening with those dates. It got pretty deep with us at that time. And I remember you really hating that and feeling really threatened by that relationship. Even though we were not romantically or physically attracted to one another, it was hard.
Yeah, I found it to be really hard because you had an emotional connection with somebody else that you had previously had a sexual relationship with. You had children with it, and it didn't matter that part was gone. It was jealousy. I had jealousy of the connection that you had with him that I wanted, but we hadn't been able to build the memories yet to have that connection.
Ultimately, for me, the answer is yes. It's okay to have opposite sex friendships with other people while you're in a relationship.
However, I think it's important to note that you and your partner are both on the same page with those relationships, that you're both aware of the relationship. If it's a secret relationship, it's not okay. I also think that you have to know the boundaries of what you are and are not going to share and experience with that other person.
Okay. So, like you were saying, what would make you uncomfortable if I was friends with a woman that fulfilled something in me that you couldn't fulfill, or I shared intimate details about our life and our relationship, like our fights, our fears, our hopes, our dreams. Those kind of things are off limits for us.
For me, for sure. Because if you're sharing those things with her, then why are you with me? You know?
100%.
Yeah.
I get it. One of the things that I've learned that really burns me up is if we were to get into a fight, which thankfully you don't do this, you were to call somebody else to get them on your side, start pouring out our fight into their ear so that you had somebody in your back pocket.
Yeah.
I'm a firm believer that that's gossip and that gossip kills, that you should never share your problems with somebody that cannot help you solve them. And I've found this one out the hard way.
I know a lot of women that pick up the phone as soon as they've had a fight or as soon as they're ticked off at their husband, and they're calling their mother or they're calling their best friend, they're calling someone from work.
Men don't do it exactly that way, but they do the same thing. I've known men to stand around in circles and complain about their wives and make jokes about their wives. That really tends to piss me off.
One thing I know about my first marriage was I would call my mom or my dad and complain about my ex-husband. The problem with that was when me and my ex would then reconcile, we were totally over it and okay. And my mother or that other person I was talking to, they weren't over it. So they would bring it back up over and over. And then that would reiterate the fight back to me. And it became too much. It was not a good situation.
If someone can't actually help you to solve the problem or doesn't have direct experience with how they can help you move past that problem, it's probably not worth sharing with them.
I will qualify this by saying, if you're being abused in a relationship, tell somebody.
Please.
Physical abuse, emotional abuse, mental abuse, any of that is not okay, and you should be screaming that from the rafters. What we're talking about is normal spats, disagreements, even heavy disagreements about important things.
I remember right when I was getting my divorce, I confided in someone at my workplace the reason for my divorce, which you all know now, but no one else knew that. And my ex-husband was not ready to share that information. And because of my confidence in someone that I thought I could trust, lo and behold, a lot of people found out about that before it was the right time.
Another risk that you run is growing apart from your partner. It's really hard to stay connected to somebody that you're talking bad about behind their back. If you're not sharing your most intimate details with your partner, but you're sharing that with somebody else to make yourself feel better, it can be a self-fulfilling prophecy.
So what are we supposed to do? Police each other? Look through each other's phones? Should we have a joint social media account?
Somebody cheated.
No offense if you have a joint social media account, but every time I see one, the first question I ask myself is, who cheated? I remember when we first got together.
Yeah, that was a bad time.
There was a lot of policing each other.
There was a lot more of me policing you. What there was a jealous boyfriend who got a little bit addicted to going through his girlfriend's phone, looking for infidelity.
Did you find it?
Of course not.
No. Okay, so we don't do that now.
No.
We constantly hand each other our phones.
Yeah, we're open books.
So how did you get over that?
The truth is, I had to tell myself to stop going through your fucking phone. That was the truth. It wasn't the feeling first. I still had all the same bad feelings. I just came to the realization that it was my problem, that I had the trust issues, and I didn't want to feel that way anymore. It was causing problems between us, and I had to make the choice.
Do you think you were only able to make that choice because you found by going through my phone that it wasn't true?
No, because I kept looking. The further I looked, the more I wanted to look. It was almost addictive.
Where do you think that desire to go through my phone came from?
For me, it came from being unfaithful myself in the past. It came from me being untrustworthy in previous relationships that caused me to think that you were untrustworthy.
I think my therapist would call that projection.
Yeah.
All right, so given all the untrustworthy things we had at first, how do we trust each other today?
Completely.
Yeah, I feel like I really, really trust you.
Yeah, 100%.
Trusting each other really comes with a communication price.
Definitely. Yeah, we've got to be really intentional because things aren't the way that they were. And it took us a long time to get where we're at now. I trust you to go anywhere with anyone and know that you're going to be true and faithful to what's core to us, to our relationship.
If we're going out with someone of the opposite sex for a business meeting or something, I think you just have to be really honest with your partner about where you're going, who you're going to be with, what you're going to be doing. And to be honest, that means you have to be a good person. You have to be a trustworthy person in order to build trust with your partner. So if you are going out and, jacking around, then maybe you're not a trustworthy person. In conclusion, as you hate it when I say.
What, are we writing an essay?
Yeah, I was good at English. We have found, personally, that it was really difficult to stay friends with people that you've been intimate with before.
It's absolutely okay to have friendships with people of the opposite sex, but it's really important that you and your partner have agreed upon where the boundaries are of those friendships so that it doesn't cause problems.
For me, confiding in others, bitching to people, to my mother, to my friends about him, or trying to get someone on my side about a fight never works out well.
Trusting your partner in their phone and their social media is a lot more about being trustworthy yourself. And the truth is, you really can't police your partner anyways. No matter how hard you try, all that's going to do is take you down a spiral and a rabbit hole of looking for fault.
All right, guys. So let us know what you think about some of these trust topics in relationships. Be sure to leave us some comments, subscribe to our channel, and ring that bell so you don't miss any of our next content. Let's turn the world together.
Bye.
Bye.
So what you got here is
Picture in picture of the picture of the picture. My insurance agent is gonna kick my ass.
so close.
Cows. Cows.
Ah, no hands! Ah!
Oh my god. Anchorman moment.